At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu. With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
This is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
Wow, the way you turned it on, girl.
That's right.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today, we have a very special episode because we were given early access to the Hallmark Christmas at Sea reality series coming to Countdown to Christmas, and we want to talk about it. Specifically, we want to talk about it because I think there's been some reticence in the Hallmark community towards reality programming on Hallmark.
Yeah.
And having seen it, we're going to run down why we think you should watch it. But let's be clear, we are fans of reality on Hallmark. Like, we were the original OG super fans of Finding Mr. Christmas.
Yeah, we were.
I feel like we put that show on the map. You know, Jonathan Bennett had a little bit of something to do with it. Melissa Peterman. But we really championed that show.
We were talking about it early.
Yeah, we were. So we're not new to the reality game on Hallmark, but we're going to dive in. I got a Hallmark champagne.
Cheers.
Cheers. I think the first thing to talk about when it comes to this series is you and I watch a lot of reality television. You probably more than me, but I'm no stranger to reality. And we just spent a lot of time earlier today diving into our thoughts on Love Island and The Valley. This is not that show.
No. If that's what you're thinking Hallmark is going to put out in terms of like a docuseries or a reality show, this is truly feel-good TV.
There's no drama.
There's no drama. And that's nice.
That's what we come to Hallmark for. That's why we talk about Hallmark being the place we go when we need to feel good, when we need to just let our stress melt away. People don't watch Hallmark for the drama. Even in a competition show like Finding Mr. Christmas, the drama is very minimal. Those dudes were all on each other's team.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get from Hallmark? You're going to get a feel-good ending.
Happily ever after.
Happily ever after, yeah. And this is no exception.
Yeah, the focus is really on connection as opposed to drama. And I think it's important to note that the connection happens on two levels. First of all, the docuseries follows several groups of people. We have a mom, her daughter, and her daughter-in-law. We have two lifelong best friends. We have a couple. We have two sisters. Mm-hmm. And so they're all on the trip for a specific reason, to spend time with each other. And each of them has something that they're going through. But they also do a nice job of connecting these people with Hallmark stars in real intentional ways. And so they get personal connections with these Hallmark stars, which is not the experience that everybody on the cruise had.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk reality, let's be real. Like, we were on cruise number 1. We didn't have access. We were not meeting like Paul Campbell in the gym.
Right.
Like, we were going to the gym either, but
we didn't get to ride ATVs with Tyler Hines.
Yeah.
So they had access beyond the regular cruiser.
Correct.
But the storytelling, I think, is really all about connection.
I agree. And I think the true Hallmark fan will see a parallel between the stories of these real people and kind of familiar stories Hallmark tells on their channel in their movies.
You know, one moment that didn't make the documentary, but Taylor Cole did share during our press call was the stars were asked what their favorite moment on the cruise was. And Taylor shared that she had recently lost her best friend to breast cancer, and the cruise was over her best friend's birthday. And she had asked the passengers to say happy birthday to her friend. And that was just a powerful moment for her. So it wasn't just these cruisers connecting. The Hallmark stars had moments of connecting too. And I think you and I talk a lot about how these celebrities are humans.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't exist on a different plane from everybody else. And so it was nice to see them connect in a way that was meaningful both ways.
Yeah, I agree with you. Even though the scenario is a produced, manufactured scenario, there are real heartfelt moments, I believe it, between the Hallmark star and the cruiser that they have.
Yeah, it was produced but genuine.
Yeah, 100% agree.
I think we all have ideas about who these people are, but getting to see them outside of a role playing themselves was kind of nice. And some of them are exactly who you expect them to be.
You're talking about the Hallmark stars, right?
I'm talking about the Hallmark stars. And we met a very special person in this documentary that we've never seen before.
We see her name quite a bit on the internet.
Yeah, because people are scammy.
Yeah, I don't like any of that, but we do meet Tyler Hines' mom. He brings his mom, Betty,
on the cruise. And
I just think that is the sweetest thing ever.
It's great.
And to actually see this woman was like kind of a weird, like he talks about her all the time, right?
Yes, and a bunch of people impersonate her on the internet.
Right, but to see her now shown on the show, and she's interacting with
cruise passengers,
I thought it was real sweet.
I thought it was sweet too. She referred to him as the bad boy of Hallmark, and they kind of play into that storyline a little bit, that persona, with some of his activities with the passengers, which I loved.
It's real fun to see him kind of surprise passengers and have heartfelt conversations with them. Like at one point we're watching this, Megan and I watched this together, and I was like, man, he's such a nice guy.
I know.
I can't help but wonder, you know, is this the Tyler? Like, is he the person we see on TV? Now, a little behind the scenes, I won't give anything away, but we've had a conversation with someone who has worked on a Hallmark production with Tyler, and we asked this person this very question, like, is he that good of a guy? And the answer was yes. So I think what we see in this docuseries is really what you'll get from him if you met him in person. I think he's just a nice dude.
You know, we had a sliver of the Tyler Hines experience, and it was nothing like what was shown in the show. But we did attempt a Tyler Hines selfie on our cruise because we were on sail 1. Wendy bailed early because she did get elbowed in the head by a man jockeying for position for his wife. But I hung tough. I'm not a quitter. And I stayed, and I got my blurry Tyler Hines selfie as people were pushing me out of the way. And I have to say, that man was cool as a cucumber. People were closing in on him. People were pushing each other out of the way, tripping over each other. And he was like, I got time. I'll stay for everybody. Just be cool.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
I couldn't hang, though. I mean, once I got the elbow in the face, I was like, bye.
I'm out.
I'll meet you over here. I have a feeling I'll get my time again.
Oh,
manifest 2026. We'll see.
Hey, let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back with more thoughts on Christmas at Sea.
At Arizona State University, we made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu. At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
What we think you will see in this docuseries is it's a real love letter to Hallmark fans. I think the series celebrates the viewer. Like it gets into the deep emotional connections fans have with Hallmark movies, and it does showcase it in just a meaningful, beautiful way that the community. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. That was a surprise to me, though, because the cruise is about the celebrities. Yes, it's about the fan experience. Yes, it's about creating this Hallmark experience. But it really was, for most people on the cruise, it was about the celebrities. And I thought it was a really interesting and wise choice to make this documentary about the fan, because you want to see yourself in this experience.
Yeah.
And it was told from the perspective of the fan, as opposed to telling it from this like behind the scenes experience that nobody's going to get. I'm not going to get the behind the scenes Hallmark celebrity experience if I go on this cruise.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's going to get me that, but I can have this fan experience.
Yeah.
I can watch the Christmas tree lighting. I can run into Christopher Palaha in the buffet as we did. I can perhaps happen upon somebody in the gym. Although some of those scenarios are less likely than others.
Mm-hmm. Not the buffet.
Not the buffet, based on a true story. But I loved the choice to tell this from the fan perspective.
I think that was a smart move on Hallmark to do it that way, because in contrast, remember when Oprah had her show and she would do the Favorite Things show?
Do I remember? It's my lifelong dream to be in that audience.
Okay, but I would watch those episodes and feel bad about myself afterwards that I didn't get to experience those episodes.
I understand that feeling.
And so I think that the way Hallmark made these, if you didn't go on the cruise last year, and if you're not going to be on the cruise this year, you're not going to watch this and feel bad that you didn't get to go on the cruise. Like, they don't make you feel like you're missing out on something.
That's so interesting, because I mentioned before that I was nervous about watching this because I felt like I was going to feel FOMO. We went on the cruise, but I still can't locate where that feeling's coming from. I think maybe because it's over. Mm-hmm. It was something we booked it. We had a year and a half to look forward to it. And then it was over, and it's always kind of sad when that happens. And I think I was worried that seeing this would make me feel like, well, we did it, but it's done. But I didn't feel like that at all.
No, I had happy feelings watching it.
Yeah.
Seeing the decor and remembering that feeling when I walked through the doors and heard Christmas music. You guys, I'm a former Hallmark hater.
And a former Christmas hater. Let's be serious.
So when I walked onto that cruise ship and heard...
Do you remember what they were playing?
Yes. The song is called Christmas Wrapping. It's by a band called The Waitresses. That was playing when I walked through those doors, and I saw the big wreaths and the ribbon and the big ornaments. And then we ran into somebody who knew who we were, and that was just mind-blowing to me. So it was like I was having all these like emotions.
Yeah. It was a really immersive experience when you first walked in.
Yeah, exactly. So watching this, I was like, oh man, like that was fun.
Yeah.
So there was happy feelings watching this for me. I wasn't feeling sad or FOMO at all.
So I think your point about all the decor is an important one, because people have expressed some consternation that there aren't any original movies this Christmas in July. We do have the Unwrapping Christmas movies, which did air on Hallmark Plus. Some people have seen those, some people haven't, but we don't have additional new Christmas movies this season. I think you're still going to get the Christmas magic with this series. We have Christmas music, as you mentioned. There's snow on the last night. The decor is off the charts. The themed days and nights, there's a Christmas pajama night. There's an ugly sweater party. There's a holiday ball. The Hallmark stars are decked out. There's really no cutting corners on the holiday cheer. They had themed drinks. The fans, I felt this on our ship and I felt it watching this. People really went all out with their clothing and their accessories and they were all in.
That's probably my biggest regret is I didn't lean harder. It wouldn't have mattered anyway because my luggage didn't make it onto the boat. So if I did have a
I've
suitcase,
been walking around as a single reindeer.
yeah, if I did have a suitcase full of like fun themed costumes, it wouldn't have mattered anyway because it wasn't there with me. So
I felt that too. When I saw people's cute outfits and cute matching shirts and cute themed clothing, I do wish we had leaned a little harder into it.
yeah,
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Can I tell a little story about the decor?
Yeah.
So it was really funny because in the first episode, one of the women clocks the cute themed pillows all over the ship. And they had like Hallmark Christmas Cruise pillows and some just had like little Christmas logos on them. And they were everywhere. They were in all the lounges, all the public spaces, down the halls. Very cute. Well, this is a behind the scenes moment. On our cruise, at one point, they had to start making announcements that people needed to put the pillows back and that those pillows were to remain in the common areas. And I was scandalized that people were stealing pillows. And then we ran into people who were like, I just saw a lady walking by with 2 pillows in her tote bag, just brazenly. So they must have restocked on the pillows between Cruise 1 and Cruise 2.
Yeah, that's really funny. I did notice too in episode 1 when the guest points out the cute pillows, they were mixed in with regular like cruise decor pillows. When we walked in on Cruise 1, I mean, those pillows were everywhere.
Yeah.
Overflowing. And then they just, one by one, went missing.
Especially the ones that said Hallmark Christmas Cruise. You notice by the end of the cruise, there were no pillows that said Hallmark Christmas Cruise still out.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It was a shame. Also, in terms of the magic, this is another behind the scenes story. At dinner one night, you and I just by chance sat next to the couple who owned the company that did all the decor for the ship.
Yeah.
They had a really small team. I mean, there were maybe 7 or 8 of them total that put everything together and took everything down. And on the last night, we saw them starting to take things down. And they had to fully dress the ship, undress it, because in between the 2 cruises, there was another rock and roll themed cruise.
Yeah, they couldn't just leave it up.
No, and then they had to come in and do it in the few hours between. They've got to completely transform that ship.
Yeah, it's crazy. I do remember that last night sitting in the lounge. That was actually a really fun night. Sitting in the lounge, we're having some drinks with some friends and
Watching them come through
and take down decor. Yeah, and I was
photo
like,
ops.
oh, it's over.
Yeah, we're going home.
Back it up, everybody. You got to get on. What is it? You can't go home, but you can't stay here.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to tell you right now, you're probably going to cry if you watch this docuseries.
We both did.
In a good way. We both did. Like, I was actually shocked. I was shocked.
Wendy's not a big crier.
I'm not. And there was something in one of the episodes, I just was like, I can't believe I'm going to cry. My chin is quivering. I'm like, what is wrong with me? But
I cried several times.
several times. Same. I think whatever is going on in your life, you're going to connect to one of the stories of the people they're profiling in the show. I connected to several different stories. It's nicely done.
It is very nicely done. You are all in on these cruisers.
Yeah, and we're talking like it's not. You're not gonna walk away and feel
It's
like
not gut-wrenching.
no, exactly,
It's touching.
exactly, which I think is very Hallmark.
Yes. Speaking of, this does feel like a Hallmark movie come to life. The stories are real. We have real life people, but it's all the same themes we see in a typical Hallmark movie. At one point, Wendy was like, second chance romance, which is one of our favorite tropes. But there is a storyline with a daughter moving away from home, and they joke about her moving away to the big city, and there's some health scares, and it really is all of those Hallmark moments, because Hallmark is, reflecting your real life.
Sure.
In a theatrical way, of course, but they did a nice job. When they were casting for this show, I had absolutely no idea what kind of people they were going to choose. They asked for people who had a story to tell, of course. I am incredibly impressed with the people they cast.
Yeah.
They were all very likable.
Mm-hmm.
They were all people you wanted to root for. They were all very dynamic on camera. The casting was, in my opinion, pretty impressive.
I agree.
Especially for their first time doing this, especially because they didn't really know how this was all going to play out. They've never done the cruise before when they were casting it. And I was kind of surprised, I just thought they would show up and there would be some shots of them sitting in the lounge getting some B-roll talking about their lives. It's fully produced. They're in their homes before they leave. There's footage of them in their real lives. That was more than I expected.
I agree. While we were watching this, Megan's talking about a specific gal. She's like, this gal's so good on camera. She's so engaged. She's perfect. She's perfect reality TV in the best way. And we talk about reality TV a lot. Obviously, you and I do. And sometimes the criticism that we have is that it's hard to find a story. If you're not bringing a story to TV and it's sensationalized and whatever, then you usually don't get picked up for the second season. And I was kind of surprised that these people, they weren't telling they weren't being sensational.
No.
Right?
No, and there was nothing shocking about their stories. We know someone in each one of these situations, but it was compelling.
Yeah, I thought so too.
As we said, the series is very meta. We've turned this cruise full of Hallmark superfans into a series about joy, about connection, about holiday magic. It, I will admit, is better and more than I anticipated it being. I wasn't sure what to expect. There was a lot of, when they announced it, there were a lot of mixed feelings about it from the cruisers themselves. If it's not clear from this episode, I'm pleasantly surprised with how it turned out.
Yeah, I agree. I had wondered what the end game with this docuseries was going to be. I was like, are they making this to sell more tickets to a cruise that is already sold out? What is the point here? And now I kind of realize, oh, this is the point. It's the human story that Hallmark is so good at telling, and that's what the series is about. You'll enjoy it. If you just want to tune in and see which stars are on it, I don't think you're going to be disappointed at that either. You do kind of get these little nuggets of a lot of Tyler Hines and a lot of Ben Ayers, and you get a little bit of Andrew Walker and some Nikki DeLoach, and it's nice to see
they participate in these stories in really special ways, and we don't want to give those away because I think it's nice to see them play out on camera, but I used them very wisely in this series. That was my other question, because we were on the cruise. We saw how busy the stars were from start to finish. I was wondering how they were gonna make that work with them.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
And they figured it out. So Christmas at Sea will air Mondays in July, starting with episode 1 on July 7th on Hallmark Channel. Tune in. Let us know what you think. Girls Gone Hallmark at gmail.com. Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, a Bramble Jam podcast. We'll be back with more Hallmark reviews very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.